Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a great and wonderful day. Well, we have something hilarious here. Something that I can fairly say that this is a woman problem, because this is exactly what we were telling you long before. Unfortunately, you guys decided to not listen. And when you don't listen and you want to go on based on feelings alone, you get this. Now, there's already a whole bunch of you that are, some of you, that are complaining about this, saying it's not fair, it's not good, right? Well, you idiots, you set the standard, you set this to be a thing, you're trying to erase the word women, and now you're crying about it. Because now we're using it to get into your space. Now we're using it to erode on your area. Guess what? You women have been doing that to us for a while now. You went into a Twitch, made it almost a sex area where it was a huge problem for a year and a half because you had to sexualize yourselves and made it a bigger problem for everybody involved. Then you introduce yourselves into the gaming industry. And only that fact is, when you introduce yourself into the gaming industry, you also claim how everybody is being mean to you, how the gaming industry is sexist, and all that stuff, when there's no stats resulting in any of that. In fact, it says the opposite. You guys just don't want to compete. And I also have a story to where even when you guys were competing and you had the ability to enter the CS for Rainbow Six Siege, the CCSW was created because you guys were apparently excluded from there. No, you were not. You were never once excluded. You were always allowed to enter. I may believe there was a female R6 player that was able to get in without the CCSW. So, you women created this yourselves. You also wanted to enter the boys, our own place, where it was a Boy Scouts, where now you're allowed in, even though it was a place already set for you. I don't know how I can actually be feeling very sad when this is the case. However, I am ranting, and we're going to get straight into the actual thing here. The men overrun Grace Hopper Women in Tech Conference by registering as non-binary. When you create a stupid system, don't be surprised when people exploit it. And that's exactly what happened over the weekend. When a conference, when a conference for women in tech was performed by men who registered under the guise of non-binary. The Grace Hopper Celebration is an annual conference and career fair designed to bring the research and career interests of women in computing to the front. But this year, droves of men descended on the Orlando event with resumes in hand, and some reportedly even cut lines and shoved women out of the way to submit those resumes to potential employers. Female attendees expressed their frustration on social media. These men are acting like zoo animals, sprinting to booths and physically hurting some of the attendees, one person wrote. So, we're gonna go to here.
To her hotel room, and she had to turn around and confront them for them.
Reset it.
There, like, you're literally in my fucking space. Like, oh my god, I'm literally gonna freak out.
Historically, this conference was made for women because of the lack of representation of women in technology, despite women being the first coders. And this year is the first year where there has been an insane amount of men who went, and they're not going to listen to the sessions and learn. They were there just purely for the career fair. Keep in mind that the entire conference is named after Grace Hopper, who was a woman computer scientist and mathematician who paved the way for women in technology. Here's what happened in the words of the women who went. These men are acting like zoo animals, sprinting to the booths and physically hurting some of the attendees. Here, a woman posted that two men tried to follow her to her hotel room, and she had to turn around and confront them for them to leave. Many posted that the men were physically pushing the women around and even hit on them, which made women feel uncomfortable, and this is supposed to be a safe space for women. Numerous women have reported that the men even took photos of the recruiters or photos of the participants, and were even talking about how women looked in their own native language so that others couldn't understand.
Again, this is something that you ladies created. You did this. You're also saying that, like, oh, you're not being into the actual technology place. No, that is not the case. Because what's happening is that you ladies, in particular, let me be perfectly honest here, you don't actually want to go into these fields very often. It's plain and simple. You just do not want to be there. So, you make the choice of not going, which is fine. That is your choice. But you're not being misrepresented at all. You're just not choosing to go into that job. On top of that as well, is that You guys are now trying to put the label on women when you guys automatically have created this. Majority of you voted Democrat. I'm pretty sure you're a Democrat, my dear. So, therefore, you are advocating and promoting things that are for the transgender people. So now, of course, the nefarious and bad men are going to use it to get a job and supply their families, etc., etc. You play the game, you set it up, now live with it. But now you're having the audacity to complain about it. It's completely stupid.
Many women were extremely frustrated with the turnout because of the fact that they paid easily $1,500 to cover the expenses, the flights, the tickets, and it was just frustrating to see that men were taking advantage of this tech pipeline.
Yes, like you did with Twitch, like you did with Boy Scouts, like you did with the gyms, like you did everywhere else that was a men's space, and you entered it and made it obviously worse. You women single-handedly have destroyed gyms because of your false accusations or trying to get men in trouble. You did this. This has nothing to do with men. I specifically remember when men were coming out and saying, don't do this. Don't do this transgender stuff. And you still do. You still advocate for it. And now you're not liking the consequences / repercussions of it. It's completely asinine. And I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say slightly sorry that I'm coming after you women so hard, but you guys just don't understand the meaning of consequences. You just don't. Because if you did, you would not be doing this type of stuff. Men haven't been having to deal with consequences their entire lifetime since the human race has been here. And you guys finally get your freedoms, and what do? You do stuff like this. And now you're expecting for us to feel sorry for you when we told you don't do this, and now you're losing your jobs, your femininity, your spaces, everything because you vote the wrong way, you do vote on emotion, and now this is the repercussion of it.
And even guys were taking up the interview slots, time with HR, basically just like pushing women aside and interrupting women and just dominating as they do with meetings. Again, the men who attended went to barely any of the sessions to listen to the women speak about issues like underrepresentation in tech, the importance of inclusivity. Instead, they went straight to the career fair. And what they failed to acknowledge as men, because a lot of these men petitioned for Grace Hopper to end, since they think it's a special career fair privilege for women that they don't think is fair. Yeah, they still go, but they failed to acknowledge the facts such as 70% of women / non-binary get interrupted by men during a meeting. I think it's a lot higher, at least 90%. Only 29% of them are part of the tech industry, yet 45% of women and non-binary were the first choice to get laid off this year. And here's an example of a man petitioning to the White House to end diversity hire and end something like Grace Hopper.
Again, say that you didn't vote Democrat while saying you voted Democrat. Because I just predicted this and I didn't even see the full video. You pretty much just said that you voted Democrat with all this stuff saying you were saying, oh, women are represented, oh, non-binary and stuff like that. Yes, you did this. And then I don't see how we're going to feel sorry for you. So, this space is for women in tech. Another Grace Hopper Denny said, this is one of the few limited resources. This isn't for you. It's for us. Right. So, are you going to say that you're going to start voting differently now? Are you going to start saying that you are going to do this? By the way, here's another thing that's also hilarious by you guys as well. You know how you guys are saying you're misrepresented and stuff like that, and a lot of you guys are not being shown to do work or whatever, or you're not being allowed in? Then why is it that there are so many men overrunning your place? That just means that there is more men invested into what you want to do than it is for you guys. Because if it was specific for women and you think you're being misrepresented and stuff like that, then why isn't there not more of you in that place? You got overrun by men. Most men are in the tech industry because they want to do stuff like this. You don't. So you were overrun by this. I can't feel sympathy. Chaos was the word of the day, wrote a woman named Peretti Lodwell. Many men attending as non-allies overstep boundaries. We witnessed inappropriate comments, breaches of personal space, and a sheer lack of decorum.
Career conference for females in tech was taken.
Yes. So, again, Anita B., the number of that runs the conference, said on LinkedIn there was an increase in participation of self-identifying males as this year's event. The nonprofit noted it cannot ban men from attending because of federal non-discrimination protections. It got so bad, though, the organizing chief impact officer stood up at the conference to explain that some regulations had lied about their gender identity, and men were now taking up space and time with recruiters that should go to women. All of those limited sources to which you have no right, he said. Bao Young Lee, Anita's adversary president, posted a video on LinkedIn on Friday in response to criticism. She said the event had always felt like a safe and loving and embracing place in the past. This year, I must admit, it didn't feel this way, she said. I know that many of you have felt the same. Many of you are feeling unsafe physically and psychologically, and you're feeling unheard. We tried to create a safe space, and this week we saw the outside world creep in. This makes me angry, it makes me sad, but most of me want to fight. Cool, let's keep that energy when it comes to women's sports, lockers, rooms, and prisons, and other private spaces. It's a shame what happened at Grace Hopper. When you create a system that allows women to be marginalized under the matter of love and exclusivity, this is what happens. And it's interesting that a group of tech nerds motivated by numbers and facts is even entertaining to try that men can be women. Hope the organizers will take lesson and make sure the next year's women's conference is open only to women. A wild concept, I know. Exactly. And that is the reality of things. You fools, you idiots are doing the transgender stuff. And now you're saying all of a sudden, oh, women need to mean something. Women is this. Oh, this. Well, if you're putting in non-binary, then that means you can be anything, right? So let's put this in perspective. I'm walking into an all-female store, right? And then you say, we accept LGBTQ plus people, even non-binary. Well, guess what? I'm going to put of any gender. Well, guess what? Under the definition of non-binary, you don't define as any gender. So, technically, if you wanted to, you could define as non-binary and be a female, and a man can just come in. You can't kick them out because it's discrimination, because these non-binary, right? So, you played yourselves, women. This is what you get when you put in stupid, dumb ideology, dumb shit, and you think that you're going to get away with it. This is what comes with it. People would abuse the stupidity of it. That's just the straight of it. There is no meaning. There is man and female. Learn it, understand it, stop catering to what society thinks. Society does not, real world things do not care about you. Real world things do not go off of what you think it is, alright? That plain and simple. Reality is going to come hitting you, and reality is hitting you hard. The reason why I'm going after women like this is because majority of you vote Democrat, majority of you go for this stuff, majority of you want this type of thing. So until you start realizing that this is a bad thing, you are a woman, and a woman only, and not a man, and you can't choose your gender, this will be continuously happening to you over and over and over again. You know what's hilarious? What's going to happen? You will lose your jobs as well. You're not going to have a chance of getting into your jobs because men are going to enter it. Men are going to destroy your careers. They're going to destroy your ability to get into to do your sports or anything of that standing. Because why? You allowed them in by saying non-binary and getting to the LGBTQ community. This is the consequences that you get. Don't complain to men to playing the game. Blame yourselves. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, share. As always, take care. And ladies, good luck.